Today I'm making Wilton's official sugar cookie recipe, and if you go to their website it's actually called Rollout Cookie Recipe. However, if you search or Google for Wilton's sugar cookie recipe, this is the recipe that you're going to find, and I'm going to do it for you today. So here are the ingredients that we need. 1 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature. I have 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1 egg, 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and we're also going to need 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract right here. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. Alright, first thing we're going to do is get our butter in here. Now, one thing that I have to mention about the butter is that if you're using salted butter, simply omit the 1 teaspoon of butter that I mentioned at the beginning of the recipe. Okay, so we've got that in there. I'm going to pop in our sugar, all of our sugar, and we're just going to simply cream this. So I'm going to get my blender going here, my beater, and I'm just going to start creaming this up. So that's our first step. Alright, that's good. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to put our egg in. So I'm just going to crack my egg over here into a bowl. And I always do that just in case I do get a little bit of eggshell in there. I can pop it out. It's very easy to take it out of a small bowl rather than looking for it in there. So we'll incorporate our egg. There we go. Next thing we'll do is we'll get our vanilla in and our almond extract. And I need 1/2 teaspoon, so I'll just get that in there. There we go. Beautiful. So we'll get that incorporated. We'll get our salt in. Make sure I get all of that in there. There we go. And my baking powder. I'll start mixing that in. There we go. Now what I'll do is I'm going to put a little bit of our flour in. About 1/2. There we go. Do you have to sift it? No, you don't. But I'm just doing that for fun for today. Just felt like sifting it. So let's just incorporate this. So I won't bore you with mixing this until it's incorporated. I'll just come back when it all is, and then we'll put in the rest of our flour. This is a very, very simple and quick recipe. The warmer your butter is, the better things will incorporate. This recipe, by the way, you do not need to refrigerate this before you use it. But I'm not going to be using it right away, so I will put it in plastic wrap, and it is going to go in the fridge and rest and cool down. Alright, there we go. And I'll just add the rest of the flour. There we go. Beautiful. And we'll slowly incorporate that. Whenever you add a lot of dry ingredients at one time, always put your mixer on the slowest setting. Otherwise you're going to have a lot of dust cloud floating around and a lot of it popping out on the sides. So just easy does it. Take your time, have fun. So I'll keep going at this. I'll come back when it's all incorporated. Alright. Now let's check out our dough. So I'm going to take off my rings and I'll just show you what this dough looks like. Now if this warms up a little bit, it's going to become stickier, but I'll just show you. because you were probably looking at that and saying, oh, it looks quite dry. However, when you start forming it, you can see that it's a very, very nice dough. And this is our sugar cookie dough. So many recipes you can make with this, so many variations. And there we go, beautiful looking dough. So that's ready to work with right now. There is no need to chill this. However, I am going to. So I'm going to get some plastic wrap. I'm going to wrap this. I'm going to break this into 2 discs. I'll break it up into 2 discs and I'll be back in a second. Let me just get all of this together. I'll make it about half. There we go. So there's one. So you just want to flatten out your disc, just like that. Always remember that a disc, you know, if you're chilling your dough, a disc like this is a lot easier to roll out when it's flat. And it chills more evenly than it would in a large ball. So always make a disc. Never just make a ball and put it in like that. That's not the way to do it. So there we go. There's number 1. Nice little disc. And I'll get on with number 2. And we'll get our second bit of dough in here. I'll just get that down. And now I'll just get our second one nicely wrapped up. There we go. Now, if you wanted to make your cookies right away, you can start playing with this right now. There is no need to chill this dough. However, I am doing some other stuff, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both my discs, I'm going to pop those into my fridge, and I'll bring them back out a little while before I need to start making our cookies. And through the magic of film, you're going to see me right away after I say this. You're going to see us starting some cookies, even though it's been a few hours or whatnot. So anyway, so I'll be back in a bit and we'll start on our cookies. Alright, so my cookie dough has been resting a while. What I'm going to do is just unwrap it. We'll get a little flour down. We'll get our nice disc of sugar cookie dough down here. A little bit on the top. And we'll just start rolling this out. What I also want you to do at this point is get your oven going to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see how that dough is coming apart a little bit here, but don't worry. Just keep it round. So 350 degrees. And we're going to bake these 8 to 11 minutes. That's what Wilton suggests. However, as we know, it all depends on your oven. So just keep an eye on them. Obviously, 8 minutes is going to be, you know, more on the chewy, soft side. And if you go a little longer, they're going to get a little bit more crispy. So it all depends on how you like them. And if you really don't know, you know, what your preference is, what you can do is bake 2 cookies or bake 3 cookies at, say, 8 minutes, and then bake another batch at 11 minutes and see how you like them, you know, because you're going to have a little bit of a texture difference there once they're actually cooled. So what you have to do is you have to let them really cool and then try them, because if you bring them out and they're still warm, you're not going to tell the difference that well between the baking time differences. Alright, so let me just get my tray and my cookie cutter. So I've got my pan here, my offset spatula. See, we've got the little offset here. That just makes things easier. You can also buy spatulas like this, which are straight. Now those are for different purposes. This is just really good to get into areas like this. And I use it quite often to do that. So there we go. For today, I'm just going to be using a very simple cookie cutter. So So I'm just gonna pop that down like that, and we'll get it right onto our tray. There we go. So other than making the recipe, the rest is pretty easy. There we go. Let's do one, just a regular round. There we go. And we're still on camera, that's good. So I'm just going to make a few of these, and I'll pop them in the oven. And then I'll show you the final cookies when we get back. So just have fun. Get the kids to cut the cookies, that's always fun. Here we go. And I'll do one more. There we go. So I'm going to pop these into my 350-degree oven, and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so I have baked our sugar cookies, and I left them in exactly 10 minutes. That's at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll just show you what they look like. So here we go. And I don't think I'd want to do them any longer than this. You can see some of them are brown, some of them are not as brown. Here, that one's a little browner. There we go. So that's perfect. So these are my sugar cookies using Wilton's official recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not going to do anything else with these. I just wanted to show you, how they turned out. And I'm not going to do anything else. I'll end the video here. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.